All right, sports fans, let's continue this episode 239 by welcoming in our guest, Adam Garfield, sports personality. You can find him on Instagram, other social media platforms at ThatGuyGarf. But Adam, I want to thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, of course, man. Thanks for having me.
So I know in all your videos, you talk about a lot of teams, you make fun of a lot of teams, but I don't know if anybody knows what your favorite team is. So what is your favorite team?
It's a great question. I grew up a Patriots fan. I love Tom Brady. It started from the 2007 Super Bowl against the Giants, a bunch of Giants fans watching in my house, and being the kid that, like, everybody's, the annoying kid that's got to go against everybody else. That's why I kind of started liking the Patriots. Fell in love with Tom Brady, Julian Edelman. My dog is named Brady now. Also, I have a love for the Chargers. I love their logo. I love their colors, too.
So for me, I grew up a little bit of a Seahawks fan, watching that Super Bowl, but then Ben McAdoo for the Giants turned me into a Giants fan back in 2016. I've had to ride it out there since. But, Jackson Dart, we're figuring things out with him. We'll see how that goes. You never know with these young quarterbacks.
I love Dart. I love Dart and Scattergood. I think they're a great young backfield.
I think it's interesting. You got a lot of young quarterbacks in the NFL like Dart. So I want to play this game with you where we go through some of these NFL quarterbacks and you tell me if you really think that one day they can turn into a franchise quarterback. All right, so just give me some quick answers here. Let's start with 9, J.J. McCarthy. I'm the biggest Michigan football fan, so I'm a little disappointed to see this guy turn into a meme, but let's see how he can do.
I think 9 can be a franchise quarterback, yeah.
Yeah, I think 9, it's weird to me because his whole entire college career, he never threw interceptions. He had 3 in one game, and I think that was all his picks for 2023, and he threw like 4 last week. So, J.J. McCarthy, 9, the alter ego, doing a little too much there, but hopefully one day, franchise QB.
With time, it's gonna. I think he threw like 11 passes in the national championship too. Like, man, it wasn't a lot. It wasn't a lot.
Everybody calls him McHandolph. I think J.J. will be just fine.
Why do they call him McCandle?
McHandolph. He'd always hand off the ball in college.
Oh,
every play is a handoff. Let's go with the next one. This one's interesting. I'm going to say Mac Jones. And you said you're a Patriots guy. So, at one point in time, you looked like a franchise QB and then, struggled, bounced around to the Jaguars, 49ers now. And he actually played really well in relief of Brock Purdy the past few games. But, he's not going to play anymore. But we saw it with Sam Darnold where he went from 49ers backup to Vikings starter, now Seahawks starter, MVP candidate. What do you think the future holds? And can Mac Jones be a franchise quarterback?
I love the comparison with Sam Darnold. I think that is his best scenario career path. It just depends if he's going to get that opportunity again. But he played well. I think there still is a chance he can be that franchise quarterback. But if not, he's a great backup.
Now, this next guy, I know you do a lot of videos on him, and he kind of does it to himself. Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, I think this season especially, he's kind of showing that he might not be a franchise quarterback. He's going to have to figure it out. But I'm going to say no. What do you consider a franchise quarterback? A quarterback that is continually going to keep you in the race and potentially take you to Super Bowls? I don't think he's that guy anymore. I don't
even think he's a Pro Bowler at this point, too. I think, it's so weird because we saw him in college, and his best strength to college was the way he would pass the ball, the way he could, move around the pocket. He doesn't do any of that anymore. He's a lefty. I'm a lefty, too, but I'm going to discount him for being that. He's done nothing this year.
I would say no. I think the window for Tua to be the franchise quarterback is starting to fade.
All right, I got 2 more for you. Jordan Love.
Jordan Love, yes, 100%. I think I'm a big fan of Jordan Love, his game. I think the mistakes that he makes, it just reminds me of what Josh Allen did earlier in his career, where he's trying to push it a little bit more than he should. But I love his game. I think he's a franchise quarterback.
Look, I think it's completely unfair to compare him to Rodgers, compare him to Brett Favre. This guy's won a playoff game. He's definitely a franchise quarterback.
I think he's going down the complete right path. And there's a lot of talk about maybe firing Matt LaFleur. I don't think that's a smart decision. A couple rough games here and there, but losing to the Panthers is going to do that to you.
All right, what about Shedeur Sanders to finish off this? Shedeur, we saw him in action. Oh, that was terrible on Sunday, it looked like. 2 plays were great, and then I think he finished, 2 for 16, something maybe even better than that, but nothing good.
It's tough with Shedeur. He was good at Colorado for 6 games, and then it kind of started to fall off. I'm going to say no, he can't be a franchise quarterback, but I would love for him to prove me wrong and go be successful. I would love nothing more for him to prove me wrong on this.
Look, I mean, he's in an awful position. I mean, Browns aren't helping him out at all. Kevin Stefanski's just done coaching malpractice with him this whole time. It's not a good situation to be around another rookie quarterback, be in a bad QB room. He would benefit from being with a good team, being a backup. He's a backup anyways, so hopefully Shedeur can figure it out. We'll see.
I mean, I like you said, I think it's a horrible spot for both Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur. I don't get it. Just draft one. Why draft both of them? I don't know.
I think the plan was just to draft Dylan Gabriel, and then, Shadeur's on the board. Why not go for it? People always said for the Browns back in the day, just draft all quarterbacks and see if it works out.
Shedeur could be the best quarterback in the CFL. I'm just saying. He could probably go win 4 in a row.
Yeah, maybe if they bring back the UFL, we'll see what Shedeur can do.
Shedeur on the Roughnecks, why not?
All right, let's switch gears here a minute to college football. So Lane Kiffin is obviously a big personality in college football, rightfully so. He's has Ole Miss Rebels, a great team. He's been there for a long time. He's been there since 2019, which some people don't realize. And this LSU job is open for him. And this LSU job is a great job where I think he could do really big things there. He's done great things in the South at Bama, at Tennessee, now at Ole Miss. Do you think Lane Kiffin and LSU could come together and that be a good pairing?
I've seen a lot of rumors, and they might be true. I'm not totally sure that he's been taking his jet, going to visit with LSU, maybe Florida. I think ultimately Ole Miss is going to drop him a bigger bag, give him a big contract extension. He's going to stay. But if he's going to go somewhere, you got to go to LSU. I don't think Florida's had that winning culture for quite some time, whereas LSU has. And Brian Kelly was just not the guy for it. If plug Lane in, he probably is. But I think he's staying.
I don't think Ole Miss is the right place for Lane at this point. I really don't. He's built up that program, but then the day it's Ole Miss. They don't have that 100,000 fan stadium. They don't have the $20 million in NIL for their roster. I don't think Lane Kiffin is going to stay there much longer. I think this will probably be the year he gets out.
You think he goes to LSU?
I think he does. I think Florida is a big option for him, but he had the option to go to Florida a few years ago, and Billy Napier was heading to Florida. So I don't think Florida's the option. I think LSU, a great spot for Lane Kiffin.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
Now, I know you're a Texas guy. You went to Texas, and obviously this season's been a bit up and down. You started out preseason number 1, and Arch hasn't been so bad where you could push him out, but he's definitely not good enough to where he can go to the NFL. Is that something you could see where it's like Steve Sarkisian just doesn't want to be there next season? He wants to go to the NFL, move on from college football, because you don't want to have Arch as your quarterback again, but you also don't want to push him out, and college football's changing so much. So big future for the Texas Longhorns. We'll see if it's without Sark or without Arch.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are talking about Sark, maybe looking at the Titans job. He shut that down. I think in terms of just the buyout and what you're getting from getting fired as a coach, you might as well stick around and ride it till the wheels fall off. I think Arch, what I noticed last year and this year, there's a huge change in his mechanics, just the way he throws it. I think, Ohio State game definitely rattled. That's a tough first start regardless. He's picked it up the past couple weeks. Georgia's tough, but that's Georgia. But he needs to step it up, and I'm sure he will.
Yeah. Last question I got for you, and let's stick with college football. Bill Belichick. Obviously, you're a Patriots fan. You know all about Bill Belichick, and it's been a rough ride with North Carolina. I mean, they're not going to make a bowl game. They're 4-6, but they have the 15th best recruiting class for next year, which is obviously one of the best North Carolina has ever had. I still do think that this could work out in some way, but when you look at teams that have big personality coaches like Deion Sanders, like Bill Belichick, the rosters aren't necessarily built the way that college ball roster should be built. You see that at Colorado, you're starting to see that at North Carolina. Could this in any way work out in the long run to where maybe they can be a top contender in college football?
I think so. I feel like you need 3 to 4 years to actually build your program. And like you said, the big personality, it's interesting with Belichick because he isn't necessarily not flamboyant, but he is an obnoxious guy talking to the media like crazy. He's more of that quiet figure. But I think now with the addition of his world famous girlfriend, Jordan, he is becoming that couple personality. Ultimately, it's not my spot to talk on someone else's relationship, but I think she does more harm than good for the UNC. And if I was a recruit, I'm going to UNC. I'm going to get a bag, but also, am I going to have to deal with questions nonstop about my coach's girlfriend who's my age? I don't want to deal with that.
Look, I think North Carolina and Bill Belichick could honestly last longer than Bill Belichick and Jordan Hudson, but I don't know who he'd pick if he'd pick Jordan Hudson or North Carolina football at the end of the day.
I feel like I don't even think he knows the gravity of it because he's not on social media and how big of a deal it really is, but I think it can work out. Give it a couple years, 3-4 years if he's still kicking, and if not, what are you going to do? Move on.
There you go. Move on. All right, Adam, I want to thank you so much for coming on. You know, your content's the best. Makes me laugh every time. Everybody should go follow you at That Guy Garf. But still more to come. Episode 239. I want to thank you for coming on.
Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much.